Good morning. Okay, this is full participation, y'all. Everybody's singing here. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Look at the person next to you. God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. And lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, in every walk of life, in every creed and color, in should we unite in honor of loving each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. Love in the sanctuary. And lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lawrence Edwards, who, apart from having a life, serves on our board of trustees and still has time to be a grandfather as well as to wash our windows at the center. Thank you, Lawrence Edwards. And to the gentlemen of the band, thank you very much for waking us up so beautifully. Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa. I am Edward Viljoen, and I'm here to welcome you, whether you're in the room or online. We sure are glad that you chose to be with us this morning. Will you please join me in reading our mission and vision? The Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that promotes global transformation through personal transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We are motivated by a compelling global vision that inspires us to bring the gifts of compassion, integrity, and loving kindness to the world through our programs and teachings. Together, we are helping create a world that works for everyone. This month, our focus is on Native American wisdom traditions as seen through the eyes of the Eastern Band Cherokee author Michael Garrett and his book, Walking on the Wind. In it, he writes this: if you know that you have limited energy, and you know that you're here for a limited amount of time, how will you use the energy that you have, as well as the energy that you receive? And how will you maintain your energy? And how will you replenish it? How will you express gratefulness for the many good things that have come your way? What will you do with the gift of life that you carry in your body? Now, we aspire to think about these questions and answer them for ourselves through our 5 core spiritual practices, and I invite you to read them with me. Spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, and spiritual circulation. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to any first-time visitors. If you are here for the very first time, won't you please stand as you're able, or raise your hand and hold it up high so that our ushers can bring you a flower and a gift as an indication of our gratitude that you're joining with us today. Welcome. Thank you for being here with us. And if you are watching online for the very first time, we'd really like to hear from you, either in the comments, or you can write to us at info@cslsr.org. I know that somewhere between the music and the meditation and the prayer that Reverend Ruth will speak for us and our practices, in between all of that is exactly what you need for the next step of your spiritual unfoldment. You're welcome here. And I invite you now to sit back and enjoy some music given to us by Reverend Russ Laguerre, an instrumental to take us into a moment of silence. So let's begin that by taking a deep breath in and exhaling, letting your eyes close if that feels comfortable. Welcome.
right here in this moment. The one presence of life, the one source of all creation is infilling and unfolding in and through and as this universe, holding this earth and all that is upon it. It is the very source. It is that animates. It is that unfolds uniquely and together as one life, one spirit, one intelligence. And so I know that it is everything and everywhere I am always. Through all thoughts and feelings, all experience, there is simply this wholeness and this oneness of being. And so I simply know this truth for and about each and every one. Hear this word. And for all that share life with us. And so I know that we are supported this morning, unfolding through that one Spirit divine, in and through and around us. It is that interior presence, that knowing. And it is that shows up in every experience, in every encounter, in every moment of our lives. And so I know that we are held right here this morning, supported, sustained. And I know that all is held, all is well in this one presence. And I simply give thanks. And I let this be. And so it is. Amen. Good morning. I'm Ruth Barnhart, a minister here at our center. Please join with me in reading this morning's affirmation. I walk gently on the earth, guided by the Spirit in all things. And so it is.
Oh, so good. So good. Thank you, Fran and Brett and Nick. You could have done that for another 2 hours. As we heard, Michael Garrett is the author of the book Walking on the Wind, Cherokee Teachings for Harmony and Balance. And in chapter 8 of that book, he tells the story about his father, who, as a young man, stood on the banks of a river with his grandfather. And here's how I imagine the scene played out. The grandfather was giving thanks to the water, really giving thanks to everything that he touched, the earth beneath his feet, the air in his lungs, the sky above, likely whispering words of gratitude. He probably always did that. And his son watched for a while, shifting impatiently from foot to foot, finally muttering that if he were to stop and give thanks for everything that the world offered, he would never get anything done. Now, can you imagine what the grandfather responded with? He smiled and said, "That's right." And in that short answer is the heart of our message today. All in good time, which for me means that everything in creation has a time and a place and a speed and a way of its own. And everything is connected to and related to everything else. The grandfather's way of keeping time had no hurry in it, even though he was fully present and engaged, attentive. Instead of watching the relentless ticking of a clock, he was watching a river that keeps moving at its own ancient speed. It's not right or wrong. It's in its own good time. And what I love about the story is that the grandfather didn't correct the son. The son had his own right speed. He was in a little bit more of a hurry. And that's okay. The grandfather didn't criticize him or make him feel like he was failing some spiritual evaluation test. Instead, the grandfather was noting how the world can change when a person pays grateful attention to it. Attention may very well change the way we see things and often how we respond to things. For me, paying attention helps me see how life moves at many different speeds all at the same time. A river can race, a mountain barely moves at all. Hummingbirds dart all over, and the oak tree takes its time. None are moving at the wrong speed. And maybe the point in today's message is to stop asking whether life is moving too fast or not fast enough or not slow enough, and maybe ask a different question. Am I meeting the moment that is before me with enough grateful attention? Garrett's story brings to mind a practice that I sometimes use when I wake up first thing in the morning before the mental machinery kicks into gear. I pause and I slowly look around the bedroom. I try to notice one thing at a time, almost as if I'm seeing it for the very first time. The texture of the blanket, the curve of the lamp, the play of the morning light, the shadows moving on the wall. For just a few moments, I allow what is present to be what it is before I start deciding what things mean. before I start thinking about what fires need to be put out. Or how will I get everything done? I get a lot out of that practice. Because when I do it, it becomes easier for me to notice that thing, that everything has its own way, its own speed, its own shape, its own purpose. And sometimes many purposes, like a river that is in a still pool peacefully, but then in the same afternoon is rushing over a cliff, a waterfall. Different expressions of the same life. Garrett in the book tells another story of two animal neighbors along the river in the Great Smoky Mountains, and they've got different callings and they've got different focuses for their lives. One is Beaver, and he spends his day, hauling logs around and packing mud into the right place. He's building a dam, and it never seems finished. The other critter is Raccoon. He's got a different speed. He spends his day tasting berries, chasing butterflies, giving thanks to Mother Earth and for whatever comes his way. And Beaver has no patience for this at all. And when Raccoon calls out to him to invite him to celebrate, to visit the most recently discovered beehive full of honey, to dance in the wildflowers, Beaver barely looks up. He keeps working. He's got those logs to lay out before the sun goes down. And then, unexpectedly and suddenly, a storm comes, and the river rises really fast, and Beaver's dam breaks apart around him. The very structure that he had poured so many hours into for safety begins to come apart around him, and he's caught between some logs and taken out into the turbulent water. And Raccoon sees that. And he comes without hesitation, leaping over the flooded logs like an athlete, calling out that he will get to the beaver and set him free, which he does. He pulls Beaver to the riverbank and leads him to shelter, and the two of them sit there and sit out the storm together, sharing wet blackberries from Raccoon's pouch. Garrett writes, from that day forward, Raccoon and Beaver have been the closest of friends. What a story. And it's not a story about how one has the correct speed and focus and the other doesn't. It's a story about the potential relationship that exists between all things. How everything belongs to everything else, whether it's similar or different. I know people who remind me of the beaver. And I know people who remind me of Raccoon. And it occurred to me that every healthy, thriving community needs both and more. Someone's got to build the budget. Someone's got to bake the bread. Someone's got to weed the garden or mend the fence. And someone has to notice the newcomer sitting alone and cross the room and say hello. And someone else needs to sit quietly and make room for reflection. And then there are others who have the focus of getting things done efficiently. Healthy communities depend on people who have different gifts and different styles being together. The diverse parts depend on one another. And interestingly, Garrett's story shows how it wasn't the dam that saved Beaver from the flood. It was his quirky neighbor, reminding me that we belong together, and importantly, that sometimes help comes from beyond the structures that we trusted. Now, in that story of Garrett's, a raccoon may have saved the day. But I want to tell you a different story with a different kind of saving. In West London, a community where it was beavers' chance to participate in a different kind of rescue. For years, heavy rain, it swept through this corner of Ealing in that area, and it flooded nearby streets and even reached the subway. The Greenford Tube Station flooded it completely. And so local authorities considered what might be a familiar response: bring in the heavy machinery, concrete, carve out an artificial reservoir, control and force that water into a planned pathway, dominate it. Then local conservationists, they asked a different kind of question. They asked, what if there was a difference? What if the solution was alive? And do you know that in 2023, a family of 5 beavers, a family was released into a place called Paradise Fields. So a neglected 20-something acre patch that was near a McDonald's and I think a retail park, like a strip mall and busy roads. Now, the important part is that beavers had been absent from Britain for about 400 years. And now they were being invited back in as partners to solve a human problem. And the beavers went to work immediately in the way that beavers do best. They cut branches, they packed mud, they built dams, they dug channels. And what they created slowed the rush of storm water so that it could spread across the land. And Paradise Fields began to act like a sponge and held the rainwater that once used to gush downstream right into the station. During the following year, Greenford Station remained completely free of flooding, even as London experienced one of its 7th wettest years on record. Now, the Beavers Dam helped slow the water so that it didn't rush into the station. And that same work that they did had another outcome beyond flood control. It helped make room for more birds, more butterflies, more other creatures. And so the flood control project became a wetland. A forgotten place turned into something alive and well and vibrant, and I love that. Thinking about those people faced with a problem, the citizens might have asked, how do you fix this? How do you control this? But instead, they did something that the grandfather was doing. They paid mindful attention and allowed a new question to emerge. What kind of partner might help life around here become more resilient, alive? And the answer had big teeth and a flat tail. Now, in my mind, I can imagine the people coming to watch the new beaver neighbors, maybe children walking a little slower on their way home as they pass the dams, or neighbors gathering at dark, hoping for a glimpse of a dark figure moving in the water. I imagine the community realizing that the new neighbors, strange as they are, and their ways of making home, different as they are, could help enhance their own lives and neighborhood. Again, it's not about all being the same, or moving at the same speed, or having the same ways. It's about the potential of right relationship and what that brings to us, and the value of paying grateful attention to what is. Garrett's teaching helps me notice how many times I ask, how can the earth fit my plan? How can life fit my plan? How can other people fit my plan? How can I fix things? But as I sit with the teaching, it invites a new question. How can I become the kind of person, the kind of neighbor who can share this world gratefully? And the question takes me back to that grandfather standing beside the river, giving thanks and noticing. And it takes me back also to our center's vision of a world that works for everyone, and it does so with a new insight. This. Perhaps one of the ways we can move toward this vision is by respecting that there are different rhythms. Respecting that people have different gifts. Maybe we can walk toward it by working with what is already present. And maybe we can make room for uncertainty to be okay. And sometimes maybe we can welcome partners we never expected to come through. Since the beginning of the year, these spiritual traditions that we have been studying, throughout there's been this recurring theme: pause and notice. Pausing and noticing, it to me makes room for the vastness and the complexity of life, its joy, its grief, its celebration, its hard work and everything else. Pausing and noticing, I believe, can help us meet life more openly, with more curiosity. Pausing and noticing can let us see that moments have their own season, their own flavor, their own nature. Fruit ripens and passes, children grow, the river keeps moving. Pausing may not stop the inevitable march of change, but it very well may help us be a little more present while our life is unfolding. Just last week, I sat in a Zoom call with our new senior minister search committee and a representative from our organization's home office headquarters. And we were carefully mapping out the job description and posting and outlining the interview process, line by line, date by date. And when the call finally ended and the screen went black, I felt this deep, heavy tiredness right to my bones. It kind of surprised me. And I realized I was, no doubt, in hyper beaver mode. And I needed some raccoon energy. So I went outside and I sat down in the garden and I watched a fig tree for a while. I had spent a whole bunch of time planning with a heavy timeline, one that felt incredibly real and all of a sudden very close. And it brought me face to face with the plain fact that my retirement is no longer a date on a distant calendar. It's a living process, already in motion, filled with real committees and real deadlines. It's kind of what happens when any of us discovers that life has entered a new season. When the future we have spoken about for years slowly becomes the present. One day the season that we anticipated arrives. And as I sat and looked at the broad green leaves on that fig tree, I realized that they were operating at an entirely different speed. That tree had been growing all along at its own pace, at a pace that to me looked like nothing was happening. Oh, but it was busy in its own good time. It was busy being engaged in being a fig tree in July. It knew nothing about my urgent timeline or my committee notes. And it also had no argument with my pace or my state of mind. And as I watched the light filter through the leaves, a thought came to me. Perhaps this moment did not have to hold the weight of the entire future. Perhaps it had to only be this moment. The next moment would come. The next decision would come. The next season would come. The next senior minister would come. The tree seemed entirely at home with that pace. And somehow, that was very comforting. So as I sat with that tree in the same way the raccoon sits with the river, giving a little more thanks for nothing in particular and for everything at once, I realized it was exactly what I needed to tune into. And as I did, something in me settled. Oh, I didn't have to bring the entire universe in order that afternoon. The tree was growing, the committee was doing its work, and our community was thriving in its own beautiful way. Each belonged to a larger process with all these moving parts in more than one speed. And I could feel my shoulders come down from around my ears, and I got to thinking a little bit more about the people, you, in our community, the moving parts, people who help in difficult times, people who support during change, people who show up because they sense their presence is needed, people who see each other and love each other, people who contribute and volunteer and attend and plan and clean and whatever. You. The title of today's message is All in Good Time. And in English, when we hear that phrase, typically it suggests be patient. But I think Garrett's meaning is something larger than that. I think perhaps it means that everything has its season and its function, and wisdom is paying mindful attention to that and noticing when it's time to wait and time to act. Tomorrow morning, the Russian River will be still flowing through Sonoma County. And somewhere, someone will drive across a bridge without noticing it at all. And somewhere, someone will stop for a moment, maybe get out of their car and watch it, the sunlight on it. And the river won't mind either way. Now, stopping to look or driving over, neither one will solve every problem we have, or explain every loss, or tell us what to do next. It may, however, help us to see relationships we hadn't noticed before. And then from that clearer seeing, perhaps the next steps will reveal themselves, or at least become easier to recognize. Perhaps the one who stops and observes and gives thanks, maybe they will leave changed. All in good time. I invite you to take a breath in with me and to exhale letting your eyes close as we join in a moment of spiritual practice. There is one life that is everywhere present. By life I mean being, creation, the energy of creation, that which is eternally present, everywhere present. The author of all things, of nature, of creation, of this planet, of these beings, of all dimensions in time and space. And I am part of that, as is every person here today. Part of the fabric of creation, individual unique strands, sparks of awareness within that which imagines all. From this sense of unity with all that is, I realize that I am, as we are, I am in the center of creation. And so I call this holy, meaning whole. I allow myself to take this in and to look from within at the movement of time and action and space and people and creation with a sense of awe and wonder. I allow to rise in me a grateful attention for what is present for me. I rededicate myself to being present for each unfolding moment with a new sense of mindfulness. I realize that there is something always revealing itself, and I begin to delight in discovering what that is without effort, simply being available and present for it. This gratitude opens my heart and softens my passage and develops my curiosity. This gratitude in me acts like a welcoming beacon, as if in my heart there is a resounding chorus of yes and thank you. And so I lift up and release this word in consciousness, signaling further my openness as I release this word. And I invite you to say with me, and so it is. Followed by another deep breath. And a sigh. We use that movement of breath to make a transition to the part of our service where we practice one of those spiritual pillars we read earlier before, spiritual circulation. And that includes our practice of financially supporting our center. It also includes the practice of appreciation. So I get the opportunity to appreciate you for the gifts you give to the center, showing up being one of the most important ones. Spiritual circulation means tuning into the giving and the receiving as bookends. So I invite you to think about, what do you receive from the energy of the people around you and from your center, knowing that you have in part helped co-create it through your financial gifts. With that in mind, I invite the ushers to stand as you prepare your gift. And I also want to let you know that on your way in, you can pick up one of these coupons if you give digitally or electronically and you still want to participate in the basket. You can drop this in as a symbol of a gift you already gave. Won't you say after me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does amazing work in the world. And so it is. Ushers, please receive the gift.
Beloved community, we gather in unity. All are welcome here, all are blessed and a blessing to be. community where we discover divinity, uncovering who we are in our beloved community. Doesn't matter where you've come from, doesn't matter what you've undone, all that matters is you're here now. So keep an open heart, let Spirit work it out. Beloved community, we gather in unity. All are welcome here, all are blessed and a blessing to be. Beloved community, where we discover divinity, uncovering who we are in our beloved community. Doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what you've undone, all that matters is you're here now. So keep an open heart, let Spirit work it out. Beloved community, we gather in unity. All are welcome here, all are blessed and a blessing to be. Beloved community, where we discover divinity, uncovering who we are in our beloved community, uncovering who we are in our beloved community, uncovering who we are in our beloved community.
Thank you again for all the gifts that you share with our community. And thanks again to Lawrence and Fran and Brett and Nick. Now, I've loved books since the first time that I walked into my elementary school library. And I drank in the smell of all that ink on paper. Do you remember that smell? Love that smell. And if you're anything like me, you have a lot of very well-used books. Maybe some of them don't have a binding or cover anymore. That's how well-used they are. Well, they might want to find a loving home with somebody else who loves books. So sharing our books is coming. And you can bring us your well-loved books, and we'll sort them out for you. And then on Sunday, August 2nd, we will peruse each other's cherished books, and we might even take a few home. So this year, we also have something special. Dr. Edward, as he's preparing for his retirement, he has been cleaning out his bookshelf. And he's retired many books from his professional library, and I can tell you there's some really good ones in there. So we'll have those to enjoy too. And you can drop off your books at the info desk on Sundays. There's a table out there for that. Or you can bring them into the office on any Monday or Tuesday between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. up until July 28th. I always get excited when a new education catalog comes out, because it feels really good to see all of the many ways that we can share in spiritual learning. And there are a number of great classes and workshops that are coming up in that new education catalog. We've got a revised edition that you can pick up out at the info desk. And here's just a few. The first is our Conscious Recovery Workshop. That's today at 1 p.m. in room 11, which is right by Wagoner Hall on the end of the building there. The big book that's used in many 12-step programs for recovery, it originated right around the same time that The Science of Mind was being written and developed by Ernest Holmes, as well as other New Thought traditions. So it's no surprise that there are many parallels that it shares with our teaching. And so this workshop answers the question of what if those parallels merged to support those who are working through recovery. Well, that's what you're going to explore this afternoon. So you can join practitioners Denise Poole and Marielle Taylor at 1 p.m. and take your 12-step journey to the next level. And by the way, if you haven't signed up already, you can still do so online. We will also be taking registrations at the door. If you pay at the door, just make sure that you come 15 minutes early so that we can start on time. But we're not done. There's also a new take on mysticism with practitioner Anne Marie Cheney. And she believes that spiritual mind treatment can be a direct pathway to experiencing the love and connection that comes from discovering the spirit within. So she'll show you how you can use this valuable tool starting on Tuesday, July 28th, and that's on Zoom. And August, can you believe it, is already around the corner. And I'm thrilled to be launching a brand new class called Zhuangzi and the Tao, Effortless Living. Now, do you remember all those fun folk stories from last month that we explored together in Taoism? Well, I was inspired by those. And so in this new class, we're going to spend each evening laser focused on one of these wisdom stories so that we can discover how it can help us to live an effortless life. And so the fun in that class starts on Tuesday, August 4. Membership at our center carries many benefits. A one-time discount in our bookstore, a free session of spiritual coaching from one of our licensed prayer practitioners, access to our member assistance program after a year of membership, which can help you financially should an emergency arise, and the joy of knowing that you are calling this community your spiritual home. So we'll share all of this and more in our upcoming free new member orientation workshop on Sunday, August 9. And you can join us and you can learn all about the ins and outs of our center. You'll also get a tour of our website, and you'll have the opportunity to affirm membership with our community. So you can sign up for all these on our website and make sure you pick up that education catalog on your way out today. Now, Sunday mornings, they have a new offering. In fact, I believe it's going on right now. It's our new silent meditation to deepen our connection to one another at 9 a.m. in the upstairs meditation room. So you can come at 9:30 a.m. and then you can bring your bliss into the 11 a.m. service. So that's available to you too. That's just right upstairs on the second floor. And also a reminder that that beautiful project Sleep Warm quilt is up for raffle to help raise funds for the warm batting that they use in the blankets that they create for the unsheltered here in Sonoma County. And you can see that beautiful quilt out there in the social hall, and you can buy tickets for that in the bookstore. And that drawing's coming up. It's happening on Sunday, July 26th. So make sure you buy 100 tickets and stack the deck in your favor. Now, one of the things that I really love about contributing to our center is knowing that we support nonprofit organizations that do very good work in the world. And since 2004, we've partnered with 258 nonprofits, all introduced by people in our community like you. Some of you volunteer for those nonprofits. So it's that time again to receive your nominations for the 12 nonprofit partners we will be supporting in 2027. So that form is online. We also have it at the information desk. And the due date for that is also coming up. It's Sunday, August 2nd. Finally, our grief and loss support group is available to you in the upstairs room right next to the Ernest Holmes Lending Library. So if you're struggling with grief, if you've recently experienced loss, please take advantage of that. Our licensed prayer practitioners, and I believe Reverend Scioto, will be there to help support you. So that's all for now. Thank you so much for being a part of our community. And before I leave the stage, I want to invite you to take a moment to enjoy the art that's on display in our social hall that's brought to you by Ms. Rosie and her daughter, Trina Fields. Have a wonderful week.
Oh, thank you very much, Reverend Russ. A little birdie told me that it's Reverend Russ's birthday tomorrow. And last week on Sunday, it was Jeff Basham's birthday, and he was working on his birthday. We didn't get to sing happy birthday to him. In fact, there's quite a lot of birthdays around. Any other birthdays today? Yesterday, happy birthday to all of our July babies. If there is something that is incomplete in you, or if you cried yourself to sleep last night, or if you're working on something you would just like some spiritual momentum and support with, please don't leave today without taking advantage of our in-person, in-service prayer support right here in the sanctuary. Just go back to the host in the corner and she will take care of you. And if you're online, you can do the same thing. We have Zoom rooms that are available for one-on-one practitioners who are waiting right now to receive you. Just go to our website and on the front page you'll see the directions for using that service. And now won't you please stand as you're able and say, something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. And life is in my affairs. I think it. I feel it. And I accept it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Know with me that you are never alone, that Spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you are guided, sustained, and inspired by a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly so that in everything that we do and say and think, we honor this presence within. And so it is. Thank you for being here. Let's close in song.
I release